PlayStation Showcase was yesterday, and I wanted to give you my reaction to it. All right, so if you guys are new to this channel or you've been watching for a while, you would know that my channel is an Xbox-centric channel. It is my platform of preference. That's where I enjoy playing most of my games, but I own everything. I've always owned everything, every single generation. Like right now, I have a PS5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S, and a PC. So whenever there are these showcases, no matter what platform they are for, I'm always excited to see what the future holds for that particular platform. But I watched the show live yesterday, and I thought overall it was a great show. So I do have some drawbacks and negatives that I will talk about once I get to those specific games. But I guess the overall big negative I had about the show was, yes, there were a lot of CGI trailers. Even when Xbox does this, it's very annoying when they just show off a CGI trailer, like a quick 30-second trailer where you don't see any gameplay or nothing like that, and they give you the title of what's coming out. I mean, it gets you hyped. It does what it has to do. Even the CGI trailers in this showcase created a ton of hype. They did what they had to do. When you think about showcases like this, like the PlayStation Showcase, the Xbox and Bethesda showcases, all that kind of stuff, their main goal of these showcases is for marketing. Like, that's what they are for. They're to push hype, get people talking about it on social media, so that, hey, somebody's talking about it, and then the next person beside them hears it, and then it keeps going. It's just the word of mouth stuff, so people get excited for what is to come on that particular platform, and then may think about picking up that platform because of the future of the games, and maybe make a purchase on a whim, even though we don't have any release dates for a lot of these games. But like I said, overall, I did think it was a great showcase. So the first game they showed off here was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. Now, this one, I have to say, I didn't expect to be shown off first. I knew this game was coming. We saw all the rumors and everybody was talking about it, and this wasn't a surprise that this game is coming back with a remake, but the actual announcement at the Sony showcase as the first game they showed off was extremely surprising. And in reality, I'll be completely honest with you guys, as somebody who played this game on the OG Xbox and it was exclusive to that OG Xbox, it was kind of saddening to see that this is going to be a timed exclusive on PlayStation and PC. So it's going to be releasing day one on PS5 and on PC, and then later on, whenever that will be, it will be coming out for Xbox. And it's sad, not because I really care about the console war things at all. I don't care about that at all. Timed exclusives in general annoy me, even when Xbox does it. But it's sad because of the nostalgia I have for this game. I remember going into my local game store at that time, and I had just gotten the original Xbox. I think at the time when this came out, I don't know how old I was, maybe 10, 11, 12, around that age. And I didn't know what I wanted on the original Xbox. Back in that time in the early 2000s, you didn't have so much information on the internet like you have now. You didn't have access to really see all of the new games coming out. You had to buy magazines and stuff like that. So I walked into my shop and they recommended Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And I would say it was the first real RPG that got me into RPGs and got my love for RPGs, particularly the Western style of RPGs. So that's why I'm sad, because I played it on the original Xbox, and I'm gonna have to wait until maybe a year after its release, or 6 months, however long it is, to be able to play it on Xbox again. And it's just the timed exclusivity thing. It's just a corporation throwing a ton of money at a developer to get this game made, to get it out onto their platform. So hopefully that will push people to go out and buy the platform. And this is something that PlayStation has to do, because they don't have that ecosystem like Xbox has, where you can play games anywhere. So I understand why they did it, but I think Xbox sort of dropped the ball on this, to be completely honest. I think Xbox, if they knew this was happening at all, they should have put some money out there to make sure that Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was not a timed exclusive on PlayStation. If it was going to be a timed exclusive, at least try to get it on Xbox, just because you have more options on where to play it. But the best case scenario would have been it's multi-platform everywhere. I always think that is the best case scenario. The more people that can play games, the better. So then they showed off Project Eve. This looks cool. I believe this is multi-platform. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it looks like a pretty neat game. Nothing that really blew me away, but looks like it would be fun. Japanese style game, action RPG style, so that would be cool. Tiny Tina's Wonderland, we got a release date and everything like that, so that is March 25th, 2022. Then Forspoken, which I believe is also another timed exclusive on PlayStation. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I'm not 100% sure. This looked good as well. And I mean, the movement and all that kind of stuff and the traversal in this game and the combat looked pretty interesting. Rainbow Six Extraction, we've seen that already, nothing too crazy. Alan Wake Remastered, another game that was originally an Xbox exclusive being shown off at a PlayStation showcase. So it's really interesting times that we're in. Now, this is definitely a multi-platform game. It is coming out on everything, but it's just such interesting times that we're seeing stuff like this now, where you probably would have never thought about this 10 years ago. And like they say here, on PlayStation for the first time, the remastered version. And it was a great game when it came out on the Xbox 360. So I would definitely recommend checking this out no matter what platform you are on. The GTA 5 Expanded and Enhanced Edition, slated for release in March 22. I mean, GTA 5 has been out forever now. They're still making tons of money off it. They're bringing it out for the next gen consoles. I don't really have any interest in that at all. Ghostwire Tokyo. Now, this game looked pretty cool as well. This is an Xbox Game Studio game, which, funny enough, being shown off at the biggest PlayStation showcase of the year, coming from Tango Gameworks. And man, yeah, this game looks cool. I can't wait to actually play this game. Will I pick it up on PS5? Meh, I probably not, because I would end up paying full price for it. And you know, this game is going to be coming out onto Xbox Game Pass when it makes its way onto Xbox. I mean, to me, that's a given. Once the timed exclusivity is over, you put out this announcement for Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop, both coming day one onto Xbox Game Pass. So that will be exciting. So I'll most likely just wait for it to come onto Game Pass. Guardians of the Galaxy, I have no interest in this game whatsoever. Seems like just another Avenger style, even though it is like a single player experience, but I just don't have any interest in Guardians of the Galaxy, these style of games right now, based off of how bad the Avengers was. And just, I'm not I like Marvel, but we've gone so much Marvel over and over and over again. I'm almost kind of burnt out from all the Marvel stuff, except for what was shown off later in the show, which I am actually very excited for. I know that's contradictory, but the Square Enix stuff, I guess, is what I'm just kind of over right now with Marvel. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, I don't have too much to say on this. The gameplay looks pretty cool, but it's a battle royale game. I am not the biggest battle royale game fan, but overall this looked like it looks like it could be a fun game to get into. It is a different style of battle royale game. It isn't just your regular like Apex or Fortnite and stuff like that. There's like more melee combat and different traversal, so that was cool. Deathloop, we've seen Deathloop. It's almost like we've played the game, we've seen Deathloop so much, but again, I'm gonna wait for that to come out on Xbox Game Pass. Kid Amnesia, I mean, this is a weird one. I think this is like the Radiohead one, which is super odd to think that like Radiohead is making a game or doing something with the game. I don't know. This one, yeah, seems like more of like a E-rated, directed towards like kids style of game. I don't know. I didn't really pay too much attention to this game here, so don't have too much to say on that. We get over to Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Now, I have not played Legacy. I have not played all of the Uncharted games in general, but these are the older games. So this is Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, and they're being remastered and released for PlayStation 5 and PC. Now, this to me is a great announcement, because it's putting more PlayStation games on PC, and the more PlayStation games that get out to as many people as possible by allowing people to play them on a different platform, the better. And I know a lot of PlayStation fanboys are going to be losing their mind. I've already seen stuff on Twitter, and I just don't understand that mentality at all, where people are upset that a previous exclusive game is coming out to more platforms. We have a visitor here as Toast. She's so big now. I know people want to see more Toast. We have a visitor. She came up to say hi. She thought that the PlayStation showcase was okay. She wasn't that blown away. She does like Xbox more as well, so wanted to say hi, but I'm gonna have to let her go now. Goodbye, Toast. And yeah, so I just don't get the mentality behind people who don't want to see more games come out on more platforms. Like, that's one of the main reasons why I love Xbox, because they put, you get to play games wherever you want. And I know I make videos about like Starfield is exclusive, I mean, even though people are still discussing it, or Elder Scrolls is exclusive, even though people still are wondering whether that's going to be exclusive. But the reason I talk about that stuff, because one, it's interesting that people still think that there's any way that that Elder Scrolls or Starfield won't be exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, which includes multiple platforms. But the exclusivity on Xbox is, in my opinion, vastly different than the exclusivity on PlayStation. And I know companies need to have exclusive titles in order to sell their box to make money for their competition of that particular box. But if I had it my way, being completely honest, I would love to see games from all platforms everywhere. I know that's not going to happen, so you have to live in reality, and that's why I still talk about this stuff, and that's why I still think Xbox needs to make all of their future Bethesda games and all of their future Xbox Game Studio games exclusive to their ecosystem, because if they don't, then they aren't going to they're not going to have a fair playing field, because PlayStation and Nintendo aren't going to do that. But at least with the Xbox exclusivity, you do have the option to play on multiple devices, and that's going to continue to expand as they release things like the streaming stick and the smart TV app and stuff like that. Now we move on here to the big announcements that I am extremely excited for. I'm not going to lie, but this one just completely came out of nowhere, and it is Marvel's Wolverine. Now, with this announcement, this is one of my complaints. Again, it's just a CGI trailer. This game's probably not going to come out till like 2024, 2025, but it did its job. You look at the trending games on like social media, the number one trending game is Marvel's Wolverine, and we're not going to see this game for a very, very long time, but people are now going to think that I need to get a PS5 today because Wolverine is coming out in like 3 years, right? So that's why they show this stuff, even though it's really hard to get a PS5. It's to build that hype and for that marketing. But man, this is sick, because I love Wolverine. I haven't played a good Wolverine game in such a long time. We know Insomniac, I've said this on my podcast previously, I've said this in videos, that in my opinion, it's not even close. Like, Insomniac is by far the best developer at PlayStation. They carry PlayStation because they make fun games. They make games where there is really good gameplay. The majority of the game is gameplay. It's less cinematic-y, where you're literally like on rails walking from point A to point B and just having a bunch of cinematics throughout the entire experience. And Spider-Man was a great game. Spider-Man Miles Morales was a great game, although Miles Morales was quite short. Wolverine, from Insomniac, is going to be great. And Insomniac made one of my favorite games last generation, which was an Xbox exclusive, which was Sunset Overdrive. So I'm very excited for this. I can't wait for Wolverine. I'm way more excited for this Wolverine game than when they showed off here Spider-Man 2. We know what Spider-Man is all about. We played the first Spider-Man, played Miles Morales. Spider-Man 2 is just going to be more of the same with upgraded graphics and a different story and maybe some more abilities and stuff like that. And it looks like it could be some co-op stuff in there, as you're going to be having both Spider-Man, so Peter Parker and Miles. So that's cool too. And they said that this is coming out in 2023. Again, a very vague release time frame for it, and we know what that means, right? It could still come out in 2024. And it makes you think, like, if they're working on Spider-Man 2 at the same time they're working on Wolverine probably isn't coming out till like 2025. Like, who knows? And I would say that was my biggest complaint about this showcase, was the CGI stuff and the lack of like actual release time periods. They also showed off Gran Turismo 7, which we actually did get a release date for, so I'll give credit for that. And it is coming out on March 4th, 2022, but I'll be honest, I have zero interest in Gran Turismo 7. I used to play Gran Turismo back on like the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. I haven't played one since the PlayStation 2 days, but with Forza Horizon, I just don't think this game has any chance of matching the Horizon series. For me personally, this is more of, I think, like a simulation style. So for some people, it may be amazing, maybe exactly what they're looking for. But for me, as somebody who doesn't play that many racing games or simulation style racing games, I play more like the arcadey and the kart racing style games. This just isn't for me. But hey, it looks good. I still don't. When I first saw this trailer, I'll be completely honest. You can think I'm crazy. I thought this game graphically just didn't look as that great. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's the way it showed up. But I guess when you're comparing it to what we've seen in like Forza Horizon, it just didn't look that impressive compared to Forza. But yeah, so this will definitely be for some people. They showed God of War Ragnarok and looks great. it looks like it's not a big upgrade from the PlayStation 4 one. It looks like it's almost similar to that, and it is cross-generational, so that may be one of the reasons. But I thought the God of War on PS4 was an amazing game. I really did enjoy it. So I'm definitely very excited for God of War Ragnarok. But again, what baffles me is they had said before the launch of the PS5, this game was coming out in 2021. We knew there was no chance it was going to come out in 2021. They delayed it. And then they didn't give a release date or anything at the end of this trailer. They just said God of War Ragnarok, didn't even say 2022. So I don't know what that means. I know they said they've delayed it till 2022, but you think they would have given something. This has me believing that there could be a chance that God of War Ragnarok gets pushed even further than 2022, because maybe they don't want to push home that point in case it doesn't make that release date, which, I mean, we've seen that already, right? We've seen them say stuff and have to go back on it, and it is just bad PR. So we've seen that not only from Sony, but from many other developers. So that was it. That was the showcase. I know I quickly just ran through that, and I mean, overall, I thought it was a great showcase. I'm not gonna lie. And my conclusion and my reasoning why I thought it was a great showcase wasn't because it was just nonstop banger after banger after banger after banger, but I think they did more than enough to get people very excited for PlayStation for the future. And they did a great job again with that marketing game with Knights of the Old Republic, Spider-Man 2, and Wolverine mainly, I would say. Oh, and God of War, of course. So those 4 games I think will be enough to really build that hype, get PlayStation trending over the next couple of days. And then between, I guess, those few days of hype, and I guess the first one to be coming out will be Gran Turismo in March, there won't be much. And then after Gran Turismo March, it will be interesting to see what's going to be coming from PlayStation Studios. So that's another thing that I think about too. It's like, these are all look like great games. Like, I'm excited for them all, except Gran Turismo. But what is going to be coming up between Gran Turismo, or between this announcement, you could even say, because there is really nothing this holiday, and I don't know, Spider-Man 2 in 2023, or God of War Ragnarok at the end of 2022. What else is going to be coming out? So that's where I see it was also lacking as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, all this shows is that this generation of gaming is going to be incredible if all of these games hit, because we have Xbox, and I thought their showcases this year were really good, and there's so much to look forward to. In fact, I think there is more to look forward to on the Xbox side of things than the PlayStation side of things. And this entire year, PlayStation, besides the beginning of the PS5 with Demon's Souls, Miles Morales, have been completely silent. And then they come out with this showcase, which then just shows that, man, we got great games coming from everywhere. And for gamers, get rid of the stupid console war stuff. There are great games coming out, and you're gonna have so much to play no matter where you play. And a lot of people, I would say, just if you can afford it at some point, pick up both consoles so you don't miss out on any of this stuff, because that's how I think this is going to be the golden age of gaming this generation. So I'm very excited, if you guys can't tell. But that's it for me, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I know this was a little bit of a different video where I rambled for like almost 20 minutes, but I wanted to give you my perspective, my reaction to this showcase as an Xbox centric guy, an Xbox centric channel. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments below. Again, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for your support. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I see my analytics, and I get so many people watching who aren't subscribed, and I know you don't have to subscribe, and but if you want to support the channel, you want to help it, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button and help the channel grow. And it just means a lot to me that you guys are still watching my content after all this time. Really, I mean, my channel has been doing decently well lately, growing. I'm over 5.2k subscribers, and I never thought I would reach this point. But again, just want to thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.